Never in a million years would I have thought I would have been on the side of the road in a new truck. This is not good. So what the heck happened? I was driving down the road, obviously this road right here, and then I hear like almost like a blow off valve. Okay, that's what it sounded like. You know how like turbo spools up and then it goes like that was a bad expression of a blow off valve, but that's what happened. And I'm like, hold on, my truck is riding good. I wasn't getting a notification anywhere. I'm like, that's weird. And as you can tell right there, I don't know what, like, I have a scale ticket for this load, okay? I have a scale ticket. It's like 7,500 pounds on the drive axle. You know what I mean? I don't have 10,000 pounds or something. It's probably why that tire is still holding it just fine. But like, this is a bummer. Look, it popped. And I was just set cruise control, 65, whatever, 70 miles an hour. I mean, the speeds here are like 80 miles an hour, so it's whatever. I mean, I was going slow. Oh, by the way, if you can see that, that's for a different video. Oh man, dude, it's just one of those weeks, boys. It's one of those weeks. Dude, do you guys, I don't know, can you even see that? You can't even see that? Dude. And then I broke my laptop screen, by the way. Oh, dude, this is terrible. Okay, anyways, this is a lease from Enterprise, but they don't cover blowouts, okay? I don't know if I mentioned that in the previous video. They do not cover blowouts, and it's already like 6 p.m. or something, so you got to change the spare, throw in the spare, and then I guess I'll figure out with the lease tomorrow, and we'll just have to go from there because this is disappointing to say the least. I don't even know why I did that though. Did something hit me? Did I hit something? Like, it's a gash. Hold on, look. It's a... Huh. Weird. All right, well, let's get to changing the spare. Okay, I forgot to put my triangles out, so I'm gonna go do that. Let's go. Okay, let's go get the triangles and get off the side of the freeway. I kid you not. I've only ever had one blowout on my truck. It's really weird. Well, it's the next day, obviously, and I've shaved and I've showered and I made some calls, okay? So we have some answers, but let's start from the top, okay? From the beginning. These trucks are really garbage. Okay, when you guys ask me, Alex, why do you lease instead of buy? Like, dude, I know the trucks inside and out. They're terrible. It's a literal dumpster fire. Okay, now it's in situations like this that you get reminded how much of a dumpster fire it actually is. Okay, the technology, the electrical on this truck is so worthless. It's obviously made in Mexico. I'm kidding, that's a bad joke, but like, the electrical is trash. There wasn't a chime, there wasn't a ding, there wasn't a beep, there wasn't a notification. Not a single thing on the dash came up notifying me, hey, you might want to check your tire. Your pressure is low. Not once. And here's the kicker. This happened in Seattle at the military base. Okay, I know why it happened now. Okay, so here's how it happened. I was getting unloaded at the military base. A guy on his like little cart, he was pulling other carts, right? He was driving like one of those airplane carts, and he was pulling these other steel carts that were just flatbed carts. And he got unloaded in front of me. And then he was like a train. He had probably like 6 or 7 carts in a row. So he was doing this big old loop to turn around towards the exit, right? And he blocked in front of me. Here he is. Here I am, like a T, right? That's how we were. He pulled in forward and did a loop to go back out of the exit. And I was pulling out to the left to go to the exit, right? He did his loop. Unfortunately, the carts were so low. They're small, like little airplane carts, like towing carts, that when I got into my truck, I couldn't even see where they were. So I couldn't even see because he was so close. And what ended up happening was I started pulling forward because I see him on the first cart all the way over there. And then I would have never guessed that his last cart, his 6th or 7th or 8th cart, was all the way right in front of me because he was doing such a big U-turn. And that's what ended up happening. He has a steel cart. It's C-channel on the outside, and that's the 2 gashes, right? The 2 scratches, that's what that is, the C-channel. But here's the kicker. Because I didn't stop quick enough, that C-channel actually went into my tire and scratched my tire and then cut a little bit of it. And it's not like this is something, when the tire popped, that wasn't because it was fresh. That was from like a day or 2 ago when I got loaded. And it's been slowly deflating air. And this is why I'm pissed at the truck. Like, what is the point of a tire pressure monitoring system that doesn't notify you when your tire pressure is low? And this is also why I said that this is why I didn't have a blowout on my truck, or I only had one. 490,000 miles, only one blowout on my truck. Because I've been using my tire pressure monitoring, the Easy Tire, right? It's not the best. It has problems too. But it beeps when you get below a certain PSI. And that's why that thing is really good, because I had sensors on my truck. Here's the problem. When I left my truck in Indiana, I left the sensors on my tires. And that's why I haven't been able to put a sensor on this truck. Because if I would have had sensors on this truck, it would have beeped as soon as I left Seattle, and it would have let me know that, hey, your tire pressure is now below 70, below 60, whatever. You can set whenever it beeps. So that's how it happened, unfortunately. So that's what caused the damage. That's why I had the blowout, and I called Enterprise. It happened a couple of days ago, so I've been thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it. And so on one hand, I wanted to just like quietly fix it up, right? It's like no harm, no foul, because it's not like a structural damage, and the truck is new, so the paint would technically match. So I had these thoughts, okay? Like my initial, like, dang it, Alex, you messed up again, right? That was my initial thing. It's like, man, I wonder if I could quietly fix it, okay? That was my first thought. Because like, it's just the outside. You know, if you look underneath, it's literally just the skin. It's on bolts. You paint it, like you get a new one ordered up, and you just take off the bolts, take it off, put a new one in, boom, done. Like, you would never notice. But then I had some convictions. Then I had some like thoughts. I'm like, yeah, but what if the lease sucks? Or what if somebody else damages their truck that leased, and then they get, like, you know, Enterprise goes after them, like, oh, you owe us a ton of money. That would be good to know whether they will or not. You know what I mean? And so then I had, even though I had like this moral crisis or whatever, I don't even moral crisis, but even though I had just had this thought, this initial thought of like fixing it quietly, like when the blowout happened, I was just like, no, you know what? Like, I want to test the worst case scenario from Enterprise. I recommend the Enterprise lease so much, I need to know how bad it can get. And that is why I called Enterprise, and I'm like, hey, Faye, I'm so sorry. You know what I mean? She's like, look, we're gonna do insurance. You know what I mean? And it's not my commercial insurance, their insurance, right? Because it's not like I damaged the load or something. None of that. It's just the damage to the pickup truck. So they're gonna do a claim on their insurance. But here's the thing: Enterprise doesn't have their insurance. Enterprise has enough money to self-insure. So I actually don't have. So when you lease a truck from Enterprise, you won't have an insurance ID card from some Progressive or something. You'll have a insurance ID card that says Enterprise is self-insured. So I'm not saying they have a ton of money crash their trucks. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, it doesn't go on my record and it doesn't go on their record. And basically it's up to Enterprise to decide whether they want to give me a truck again or not, just based on how bad shape the truck is in when I turn it in. And she specifically let me know, Faye told me that if my truck is consistently getting damaged, like, they will kick me out. So I have to stay in their graces. I have to stay in their good graces. You know what I mean? I got to be careful. But I did choose the $1,000 deductible. So it's going to cost me at least $1,000 because I do have to pay for the deductible. Now, the damage is, like, I don't think you can, I mean, you can buff it out and, you know, whatever, pull it out or whatever. It's just a dent. And I actually pulled it out a little bit, as you can see. Like, I pushed the dent out from the inside. I was laying on the ground and just, I pushed it out with my hand and it went out. So, like, I understand I kind of fixed it to make it at least look a little bit better. But for the most part, like, I think it's going to need a new bedside, right? That's what this is called, a bedside. And a painted bedside, how much is that? A couple grand maybe? I'm not sure. Maybe. I think so. I don't know. Beside the point, Faye told me that because I'm racking up so many miles, the truck will be in, like, I'll be able to turn it in at 60,000 miles. They'll have a new truck for me. And so that'll be covered by the insurance. I will have to pay $1,000, whatever. That's fine. What about the tire now? Enterprise doesn't pay for blowouts. But what Faye said is, when next time you go get a fuel filter, or next time you get an oil change, make sure you have Enterprise pay for it, and then we'll just deduct that from your account. Why? Because Enterprise gets a fleet discount or something along those lines. So the tire will be cheaper to them than it will be to me. And so basically, like, this is one of the advantages of being, like, with Enterprise. Yes, you have to stay in their good graces, but still the point remains the same, that I'm not paying full retail for a tire. And so basically the lease for the win again, but this was just, it was just one of those situations that could have been avoided, and like, little mistake that is costing more than it should, essentially. By the way, not that anyone cares, the laptop is getting fixed. The laptop is $100 for the screen, and that's because I have Apple Care Plus on my new MacBook, and Apple Care Plus covers damage and spills, whereas I believe it covers damage and spills, like accidental damage and spills. I'm pretty sure, but it was like $400 when I bought it. So Apple Care is expensive. But think about this: that screen to repair would have been $600 if I didn't have Apple Care. So it's like, all of a sudden, Apple Care is a good deal. But yeah, dude, it's just like, it's just one of those weeks where it's like one thing after another. So just to do a final recap, you know, to summarize basically the events of the last couple days, Enterprise has your best interest at heart. You know, at the end of the day, they make money if you're happy. And so if you can keep coming back, that's better for them. So that's why they will take care of you. And maybe this is why I always push the lease, because in reality, it is very stress-free. So I'm glad Enterprise will take care of you. And then as for the truck is good, you guys, but the truck is good because it's a lease. The truck isn't good on its own. Like, I've had a lot of problems already with this infotainment. It's garbage. Phones don't connect. It can't do two devices at once. Like, this will absolutely be in my truck review when I hit like 50,000 miles. You know what I mean? Because it's just infuriating how bad it is. I really don't like. I'm so, like, I don't think I can accurately express how pissed off I am that the TPMS in this stupid truck didn't notify me. 3 days. Not a single notification. Not one. Okay, this is the summary, not the rant. Oh, man. And the ultimate, like, lesson learned is, you know, slow down. Double check. Pay attention to your surroundings a little bit better. You know? And it's a little mistake, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse, because if I didn't notice, Had I maybe like been a little closer, it would have scratched up the entire side of the truck, and then it would have been expensive. And so I understand I'm not if I didn't have a dually, I would have missed it with a single rear wheel truck, right? So like when I first got my dually, I'm like, man, those fenders are sticking out kind of wide. So if I never had the dually, I would have cleared it just fine. But in reality, it's like, man, if I would have gone a little bit sooner, or he would have been a little closer, I would have scratched up the front bumper, the side, the doors. That would have been a big bill. And so to summarize this thing, it's just like, slow and steady wins the race. If you're in it for the long haul, do it right, take your time, and that's just a lesson. That's a valuable lesson, you know, that I learned. And like as the lease continues, as this stuff continues, I will update you guys on how it's going. You know, I will update you guys on how much they charge. Well, I mean, it's going to be $1,000, and I'm not responsible for anything else. But I will absolutely, like, there's absolutely going to be a lease review at the end of the whole thing. You know what I mean? And I most certainly will be leasing again. Almost like I'm gonna have to win the lottery for me not to lease again. You know what I mean? So anyways, that'll do it for this video. I will see you guys in the next video.